Think about this. What do most people do first thing in the morning? In fact, before I go there, think about this. When we are breathing, we are losing moisture as we breathe. Water, fluid. We see this on a cold day. When it's cold outside and then our warm breath hits the air, we see our breath. That's moisture leaving our body. Okay? So when we breathe, we're losing water. And then thinking about exercise, we breathe more, so we need more water. Plus we sweat some, maybe sweating with the exercise we lose water. So if you're exercising, you need more water. Add maybe another half a litre onto your daily requirement if you're doing exercise. And then, I'm getting back onto my track, Sharpie, stick with me. So yeah, what happens, we may drink water throughout the day, but when we sleep at night, and hopefully we're sleeping through the night, it's not often that we're drinking water while we're sleeping. I don't know anyone who's drank water while they're asleep yet. So we can go like maybe 6, 7, 8 hours even without drinking water. So when we wake up first thing in the morning, often people can be dehydrated. However, what do most people do when they get up in the morning feeling maybe a bit tired? They turn to what? What do they drink? Tea or coffee? Two things that actually are known to be diuretics and actually dehydrate us further. So the best tip I can recommend when it comes to hydrating is as soon as you wake up, maybe after visiting the bathroom first, is that you go downstairs or you go to your kitchen, get yourself a large glass of good quality water, okay? And drink it. Maybe 2 if you want to as well. But start your day hydrated. It's one of the best starts to getting more energy in the day, okay? Something I do within 5 minutes of waking is I go downstairs and have a large glass of water. Yeah? It's the best tip. Make sure you're carrying water with you, okay? If you're going into meetings or you're going out on day trips, or you're going out to your local towns, have water with you, sip it throughout the day. Have it in your car, but beware, make sure that you're not leaving plastic water bottles in direct sunlight and allowing the plastic to heat up and the water to then be affected. Because what can happen if we've got plastic water bottles or liquid fluids in plastic water bottles and we leave it in the sun heats the plastic, and often a lot of the chemicals that can be contained in these plastics get leached into the water, and it's been known to be very carcinogenic and can be cancer causing to drink the water. So keep it out of the sun, really, really key. What else can I give you? What are the top tips? Avoid or certainly reduce significantly the coffee or tea intake because that can really dehydrate us. So if you're changing some of your teas and coffees to water, you're having a double whammy. You're going to really reduce the amount you're dehydrated and increase the amount you're hydrated. It can really make a difference. If you go to a lot of the European countries, then what do? When you have a coffee, they give you a large glass of water with it. But often in the cultures now these days, in the UK, US, etc., people aren't in the culture of drinking water with their coffee. So if you are going to have a coffee, drink water with it and keep your coffees to a minimum. A couple of cups a day max, I'd say, if any. The other thing to think about with water is keeping it separate from your mealtime when you're eating on a regular basis. Now, I'm no monk, I'm not kind of saying that when you're drinking, when you're out having dinner with someone and you've got maybe a glass of wine with your meal, these one-off moments, then yeah, maybe have some fluid with it, But on the majority of your meals, it's really good to keep the water separate from your meals. Maybe 20 minutes before, 15 minutes before is good to get water in, but you might want to leave it half an hour, or for some people maybe 45 minutes after a meal before they start having fluids again. Why? Why do you think I'm saying this? Why might I be saying this? Well, if you're one of the people that get wind after eating and gas, there's many reasons why that can be happening, but one of those reasons can be that you're pouring water on top of the food you're eating. And what that can do is it can dilute the very enzymes that are needed to digest that food, so the body has a hard time at digestion. Now, I say this because this is something I used to suffer from, a lot of wind and gas at both ends. Now, that's not good if it's at the tea table either, yeah? And I wasn't people's best friends, particularly my wife and girlfriend at the time when that was happening. particularly pleasant for her too. So what I did is when I learnt this, I kept it separate. Stopped. Really, really quickly it stopped. So try it if that's something that you experience, or you know someone maybe that sits across the table from you that experiences it. And it will really help with digestion as well, because some people, if they're pouring water on top of their meals, then it can really mean they're not digesting the food as well, which means they feel tired after eating, that they may feel more bloated, or even stomach pains or cramps after eating. There may be some other reasons as well. There may be that those people need some actually food enzymes and digestive enzymes to help them digest better. It may also mean that there's some food intolerances and that they're eating foods that their body digestion doesn't agree with, and they may need to eliminate those foods to help digest better. So, something to think about. Now, the other key thing is, I want to remind you your body is so precious. Our body is more precious than the most expensive sports car you can imagine, more valuable than that. What price can we put on our bodies, okay? So it's really important we look after it and feed it right. And so I personally believe it's important to get the best quality water. If you want your body and mind to perform at its best, get the best water. And unfortunately, a lot of tap water these days has been known, and there's been studies that have shown, reports that have shown, that there's traces of all sorts of medication, like Prozac, like the birth control pill. And if we think about this, you know, there's lots of people on medications out there, and that's why we're seeing traces of it in our drinking water. You know, I know in some of the cities, the drinking water can have passed through maybe 4, 5, 6 different people before it's got into your body. So there can be traces of these things. Also some heavy metals potentially, if there's old pipe work that the water's being transported through. So, you know, when I learned this, I thought it was really important to get the best quality water. So I started to buy bottled water, the best spring water I could find. There's some really great brands like I recommend, like Evian and Volvic, that are really, some of the Fiji waters are good too, some of the highest quality and the right balance of water as well. However, something to consider is the plastic bottles that they're contained in, you want to make sure that they've not been sat in any sunny weather in those plastic bottles, as I mentioned earlier. So if you're going to buy mineral water, the glass bottles is the preferred source. Much, much better. You pay more for it, but it's better. Some of you might be thinking, what about filtered water? If I have one of these kind of filter systems that sits on the side on the kitchen that I fill up, and it goes through you have to change the filters, like a little charcoal thing in there. Well, they're a pretty good step. They're not the best, but it will be better than just tap water on its own, and it will filter out some of the impurities, but not all. The best thing I recommend doing, and I did this a few years ago, and really one of my best investments, is to get a really great water filtration system installed in your homes. You know, you may well pay, you know, anywhere between kind of £300-500 potentially for a high quality what's called reverse osmosis water filtration system. And what this does is it strips out all the impurities out of the water, and if you get a good one, it will put the minerals back in, very important minerals like magnesium and calcium, back into the water. And then you could also get an even better one that also ionises it and puts antioxidants back into the water too. Now, some of these systems, like I say, £300-500, yet really, it really is one of your best investments for all the reasons I shared earlier about water. And it's something you can really feel the benefit for. When you do this, you may annually need to replace the water filtration system. It could be like £70, £100 to do that every year. But it can work out a lot cheaper than bottled water, particularly if you're buying it for more than one person. You can also use that water for pots and pans and your cooking, and some people have it installed throughout the whole house for their bathing as well. So if you want to find out a bit more information about that, then check out my website, www.believetoachieve.co.uk, and you can find out some different ways of getting good filtration systems. So, any more tips that I'd give you on that? If you're exercising, remember add half a litre on. Remember Dr. Batman Geladi's books, which is Your Body's Many Cries for Water, Your you're sick, you're not sick, you're thirsty. Don't treat thirst with medications. He really believes that many people are on medications that could be really reduced potentially by drinking enough, the right levels of water. Keep hydrated, keep well. Your homework is, I want you to work out how much water your body needs, okay, with the calculation I gave you earlier, and I want you to start to build up to those levels gradually over a few weeks. Enjoy the benefits of better water, and you really got the second pillar and foundation into what creates fantastic health and fantastic results. See you in the next module. Take care.